all, my name is Stephanie, and I am both an artist and a writer. I love drawing cute animals and also love writing fantasy stories. I share a little bit of both of those on this channel. Today, I'm here to draw though, so let's draw some cute pups. I have two picked for today. One I didn't really have a breed in mind for, and the second one is a corgi. The pencil sketch on this first part is a little hard to see, but I hope you can make it out okay. I also cut a lot out of this first part because I kept putting my hand in the way, especially during the inking, but the watercolor footage is a lot better. Right now, I'm just sketching out this floppy-eared dog, and then I decided to draw her sitting in a basket of some sort. I redraw that a couple of times before I settled on this square sort of basket. The weaving on the bottom of it is so simplified that it looks more like a brick layer, but I decided to just go with it. And now I'm going over the sketch a second time, fixing the ears a little bit, making some adjustments, and just kind of smoothing out some detail. So why dogs? Dogs have been one of my favorite animals for as long as I can remember. I grew up owning dogs, mostly beagles. I just have always adored them. I have always been the gal that goes to a party and makes friends with the dog, so I just love to draw them, and I draw them quite a lot. I'm also a big fan of the website doesthedogdie.com because life's too short to sob over all of these films where the dog dies. I'm now adding some nice weaving patterns to the top part of the basket where the dog's paws are sitting. Like I said, I probably should have done more of that sort of pattern on the bottom and made it look a little more like weaving, but I just kind of simplified everything because I just wanted to do a fun cartoon dog today. And now we're on to one of my favorite parts, the inking. My art journey didn't fully start until September of 2018. I had basically no skills at all, besides my own sheer stubbornness, and I couldn't resist joining Inktober that coming October. The hype was real, and I still love the spirit of it so much. I love the random word list and trying to make art for all of it. In recent years, I've created some characters to use for the whole month, and I try to find ways to fit them into each prompt. There's pretty much always a dog character, and I've been trying to draw more human characters for Inktober as well. Since it was such an integral part of the beginning of my art journey, I just love inking and admiring other talented artists' ink work. Basically, if you love Inktober as much as I do, you'll be in luck because there will likely be some Inktober content this coming October. So here I'm about to finish the inking content, and then I get to break out my watercolors and we get to have some fun with that. And then once the watercolor starts drying, and I'm kind of waiting, is when I start drawing the corgi. I couldn't resist adding a little heart spot on her ear. It just felt like she needed something like that. I love adding hearts to my work. Oh, I forgot. I take a moment and put one more thicker outline around the whole outside of this dog before we start the watercolor. And with one final erasing, it's time to break out those watercolors I mentioned. I'm using Daniel Smith watercolors. I mixed some yellow ochre, I believe some burnt sienna, to mix this initial color. I might have added a touch of indigo too. I know I do when I start adding shadows later. Oh, I forgot to mention, I am using mixed media paper for this, so it doesn't hold water as well. So I'm using very thin layers of watercolor as I paint this, and just trying to mop up any extra puddles or anything so that it doesn't leave any blooms around it. I have been loving using mixed media paper here lately. It's been so much fun to just play with all the different materials I have, even the ones that I don't use as often. I have been using the watercolors a fair amount here lately. But it's just been fun to see what all I can create with the different materials that I have at hand. I also really like that the paper is textured, but not as textured as cold-pressed watercolor paper. It just leaves some different effects, and it looks a little nicer when I add the colored pencils. I've never really liked how colored pencils go down on cold-pressed paper. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm using some indigo that I mixed up and toned way down with water to try and add some shadows. I probably should have added the shadows to the basket first and then done the brown over it, but I didn't think of it at the time. So adding shadows later and adding shadows to the dog now. As you can see, I'm doing a very thin layer, and then I'm going over it with clean water to kind of smooth out the edges, and also using a dry brush to pick up some of the excess water. As I wait for that shadow layer to dry, I decide that it's time to draw another dog, and this is where the corgi starts coming into play. So you can see me sketching him here. I love doing the really big, exaggerated ears on corgis and dogs like corgis. And just trying to give them really cute faces with these nice little dot eyes that I like to use, and just often a big nose to go with the big ears. Just trying to make these cute little dog faces. And y'all, I gotta say, this is my first long-form YouTube video ever, and I have no idea how people come up with things to say for these long videos. So yeah, I just want to give kudos to all of the people out there that do this regularly and come up with art videos and things to say of this length every week, because wow, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. Okay, and back to the video. I'm here, I redid the corgi's mouth a couple of times. I'm now adding a little bit of fur texture to the outline, and just kind of going in there for the rest of his body. I do cut off the bottom of the page a little bit so you can't see his feet, but I do edit most of that out because it's no fun for you if you can't actually see what I'm doing. So now I'm erasing it and going over it one last time, and I think I do this pretty quickly. And then I'll get back to, I believe, watercolor painting after that. Okay, I apologize. Now that the sketch is done, I believe I go into the inking phase, and so I will ink the little corgi really quick, and then I will get back into painting the first dog. Okay, and here we are painting the first dog. I decided for this that since I was going to make the corgi very orange and a little bit exaggerated, that I may as well just go all in, and I decided to make this cute little pupper purple. So I'm using, I believe it's an Imperial Purple is the name of the shade I'm using. And I probably mixed a touch of blue in there just because I usually lean it a little bit more cool when I'm using it. So I'm going over it with a thin layer of purple on the dog right now. I'm now adding a little bit of indigo to the nose and getting started on the shadows of the corgi. Once the shadows are dry, I go ahead and I get started on adding the orange to the corgi. Like I said, it was a very exaggerated orange. I used a very warm yellow. I don't remember what the color name is of the shade I have on my palette, but again, it's a Daniel Smith, like a warm yellow, and I mixed that with some, I believe, scarlet red, and then toned it down with some other colors just so it wasn't too orange, but it's still really orange. I took a watercolor crash course last fall. It kind of taught me a lot about different techniques to use and just was a really good introduction to the medium because my experiments on my own had never quite turned out the way I wanted them. So I kind of learned a lot how to handle watercolor and not make blooms happen as much. It was a really great course, and I've had a ton of fun playing with the medium ever since. I still have a lot to learn, I'm sure, but it's been really fun to try and experiment. Here I go over the basket one last time with some paint. I'm just trying to add a little more depth to the color of the basket, and then once that dries, I break out my colored pencils and start adding a little bit more texture and shading to the basket, so that'll be in just a moment. And here I am, I'm just going over the basket, like I said, with some colored pencil. In this case, I'm using just the basic Prismacolor pencils that a lot of people use all of the time because they're, I guess, one of the best. I don't use colored pencils as much, but this is just what I have on hand. Unfortunately, once I turn the sketchbook back up, I do accidentally cut off the first dog's head, so unfortunately you won't be able to see some of the work that I do on her later on, but I do cut most of that footage, so you won't have to watch that. Now I'm coming in and I'm adding a layer of deep brown shadows to the corgi just to give us for a little bit more dimension and depth. It's definitely a burnt sienna that I mixed in, possibly with the original orange a little bit, just to work on those shadows. So I'm going to do that really quick before I add a little bit of pink to the ears. At this point, I decide that the dog needs some flowers coming out of her basket, so I grab some acrylic paint markers, and I just go in with a green to start adding kind of some stems and some leaves to these flowers, and then I take a pink acrylic pen and I just add some cute little flower globs onto it. Not really any type of flower in particular, I just wanted to give the idea of some flowers being in the basket with her. Now I go ahead and add that thicker outline around the corgi for one last layer of ink. We're almost done here, but I just thought it would make him pop a little bit more, and I think it really helped. I do wish that I didn't go in so thickly on the white fur on his chest. The rest of it I think turns out really cute. At this point, I decide to go ahead and break out my colored pencils for the corgi as well and add just a little bit more texture to his fur. I just do kind of a quick once-over of it just to give his fur a little bit more texture and depth to it. Nothing too crazy. I now decide it's time to add a pot more color to him, so I use the complementary color of orange, which of course is blue, and I just break out my acrylic markers again to do just a quick blue outline. I do a light purple one around the other dog as well, but again, with her being cut off, I just went ahead and cut that footage. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this little dog video that I made, and I hope you enjoyed my first long form video. Please like and subscribe.